Hello, my name's TJ Pruitt, and over the last 11 months, I've lost 111 pounds. Now, I'm not a health expert. I'm not somebody who has any brilliant ways of advising you to lose weight, but my pastor suggested that my story might help somebody. There's some people in my life that know much more than I do that are a breath of encouragement to me through this journey. My pastor, Jason Potter, and Pastor Brittany Potter, and then Joseph Reed, who he's a nutritionist and so many other things. So they are much better qualified. So I don't come to you as somebody who is trying to tell you what to do. But I did want to give my testimony of what has worked for me. You see, I was last year 361 pounds. And I had tried different things to try to do something. I was even on medication, and the medicine wasn't working. And as a Christian and as a minister, I believe in the power of prayer. And I'd been praying and uh, reaching out to my doctor, trying to do everything I could. But something changed that day in May. I can't explain exactly what changed, but I can tell you over 11 months, everything has. As I said, I've lost 111 pounds. And I don't just tell you that everybody says when you get to a certain age, it's impossible to lose weight. Well, I'm 49, I'll be 50 in August. And I'm probably healthier now than I've been in 30 years. Some things that have helped me, though, that might help you. Number one, relying on the Lord. Number two, doing what you can. I love the way my pastor put it tonight. You do everything you can, and you leave room for God to do what only He can. And I try to walk 5 to 6 days a week, 45 minutes a day. And for breakfast, sometimes you get tired of eggs. You know, you try to do protein, chicken, things that are uh, not a lot of fat, not a lot of calories. You try to balance protein and fiber and all those things. But for those days whenever I just can't do another egg white omelet or an egg, or they do these things called chaffles where you mix, of all things, mozzarella cheese and eggs or egg whites. And you can use a little bit of almond flour, and you make basically a waffle made out of cheese. And believe it or not, it tastes uh, far different than it sounds. But it got me through the first few months. And then I went to eggs, and then uh, got a little concerned about the cholesterol from 2 eggs. Like I said, I'm not an expert. A lot of this stuff is not stuff that I'm brilliant at. But so I went to the egg white omelets, and then after a while I got bored. Well, after losing to a certain point, I was able to do uh, basically 2 pieces of keto bread for breakfast. It's the 5 seed, I think the Arnold brand is what it is, avocado oil. It's like 40 calories per slice, one carb after you take out the fiber and all those things. And the fiber helps also balance the protein. But uh, basically, I do allulose, which is it's a sweetener made from figs, I believe they say. It's like if sugar's 100% sweet, then it's 70% sweet, so it's less sweet. But what was important for me is it did not have the aftertaste. I'm a coffee guy. I can't drink tea because not because I don't like it, but so much as there's a metallic aftertaste after tea. And a lot of the sweeteners that I tried, even the ones that were supposed to be healthy, they had an aftertaste for me for a long time. Now I can do to a limited capacity some stevia, but too much stevia and there's an aftertaste. But the allulose for some reason it didn't have one. So I'll use a teaspoon of allulose per piece of bread, and a little bit of cinnamon, and like a sliver of butter on the after toasting the keto bread, and it's like 200 calories, 200 and some calories for breakfast, as opposed to, I think most breakfasts are double that at least. And then I try to stay away from potatoes. I used to despise radishes. If someone sliced up a radish in a salad, I would pick out every one of them. But when you get hungry enough, you get desperate. And I'd seen somewhere that radishes, if you roast them, have like a texture of a roast potato. Now, I'm not saying they taste just like a potato. Everybody says, oh, it's just like it. It's not. But it has a similar texture. And the difference is one radish is 1 calorie, literally. I remember my doctor said that vegetables that grow above the ground have less carbohydrates and things and less sugar than those that grow underneath the ground. I thought vegetables were vegetables for a long time, although I knew potatoes were. There's a reason why it's one of the best tasting vegetables. It also has some of the most dangerous things for you. But the radishes were a good substitute for me. Sometimes you get tired of chicken. So tilapia, which has even less calories than chicken, I love put it in the air fryer with a little lemon pepper seasoning and some cayenne pepper, and I enjoy that. That's a good dinner. I try to eat dinner around. I work from home. I'm blessed to be able to work from home, and do homeschool for our son. So I try to eat dinner around 3 in the afternoon. I may have just a small, uh, like the Lily's white chocolate chips, 2 teaspoons of that, uh, or a light calorie snack around 6 just to tide me over. But I basically, from say, I try not to eat but after 6, but sometimes that after get on the treadmill, uh, from 7:30 till 7:38 in the morning, so about 12 hours. I usually don't do anything, eat anything after that point, but I try to stay at about 1,200 calories a day. And a really good lunch for me. I don't like eggplant when it's soft, like most people cook it, but if you'll cube your eggplant, toss it in. There's a brand name, either balsamic vinegar, or there's the brand name's called Skinny Girl. Believe it or not, I'm not a girl and I'm not skinny, but uh, a balsamic vinaigrette that you toss that in with a little salt and a little cayenne pepper, and you get it to where it's still chewy. You can stick a fork in it, but it's not mush, and that is roughly 130 some calories for a lunch, one whole eggplant. And I'll pass up chicken for lunch for that. It's a great lunch. And then I'll have, uh, you can toss like a chicken breast in. They make pork rinds that they ground and they sell. They call it porco instead of panko. But you toss the chicken in that with some seasoning and air fry it for like 22 minutes in the air fryer, and it tastes just like fried chicken, or it tastes enough like it to me to be happy. Everybody says stuff like, "Oh, it tastes just like," and all this stuff. Your taste buds may be different, but these are some of the things that have worked for me. And as I said, I try to walk 45 minutes a day, and I try to keep my calories around 1,200 calories a day. Now, everybody is different. Some people can do cheat days and all this stuff. I tend not to do well with that. I tend to try to stay on because I know what my body wants and how tempting food is and different things. So I tend to my plan is to lose about 30 more pounds if the good Lord willing. I'd like to lose 40 to get down to around 210 so I could maintain. But my goal is to maintain. I heard one comedian say, after a while, you start doing dad math and you figure out. And as I said, I'm a Christian. I believe the Lord decides how old you are when he calls you home and all these things. But I do believe that the Bible says you can lengthen or shorten your days, and I'm trying to do everything on my end that I can to be around as long as the Lord will allow me to for my wife and my son. Some of these things may be common sense to you, but they have made a big impact for me. And as I said, there's people that are qualified to give you nutritional advice and all that. And I'm not that guy. I'm just someone who medicine wasn't working, everything else wasn't working on its own. And the Lord helped me over 11 months to lose 111 pounds, and I'm still on my journey. Last night, I was craving pizza, and I didn't eat it, but I wanted it. And sometimes you're going to deal with cravings, you're going to deal with things. Life is full of challenges. But if you can trust the Lord and do your part, because we all need to do our part, then He'll get you there. And I hope in some small way this may encourage you, because people along the way have encouraged me every step. Sometimes we just need someone to tell us, you can do this and it's going to be okay. And as someone who's done it, I can tell you, you can do this and it will be okay if you trust the Lord and take a step. All I could do 111 pounds ago was take one step, and then I was probably out of breath. But over the last 11 months, it didn't happen overnight, it happened a day at a time. But I've seen changes, and I'm very thankful. I'm grateful to the Lord and to all the people that have been with me through this journey, my precious wife and my son and everyone else that has said, keep going. And by the grace of God, I am. And by the grace of God, you can too.